Well, I was an undergraduate. As an undergraduate, I was an engineer by training, actually, and I started off as an engineer, and then I decided to go to law school after working a couple of years at Oracle. And I went to law school and decided to become an intellectual property lawyer, which is what a lot of engineers do. And so I practiced for about 25 years. Most recently, I was a partner at Shearman & Sterling. I was head of their global IP group before I joined MLA in 2017. Well, legal recruiting had been something I'd always been sort of interested in, but in a way that was sort of more like a fantasy, like maybe trying to be like a race car driver or something. It's not something I'd ever seriously thought about doing. But then a friend of mine was approached by someone at MLA about being a recruiter, and he just happened to mention it to me, not trying to recruit me, and I just mentioned, I said, oh, I'd be interested in learning more about that job, and so I agreed to meet with him. The reason that recruiting made a lot of sense for me is because two of the things that I really enjoyed about being a practicing lawyer was working with clients and having a connection with people, but then also I really enjoyed connecting people together. And so the way I saw it was recruiting was a way that allowed me to actually spend more of the time on the things that two of the things that I really enjoyed about being a practicing lawyer. After I learned about MLA and learned a little bit more about recruiting, I decided to call Keith, who's now my partner in MLA, Keith Wetmore. And so I was asking him for some career advice. I'd known Keith for many years, many years. And I was talking about a bunch of different things. And one of the things I happened to mention was the idea of becoming a legal recruiter. And then he literally said, wow, funny you should mention that, because that's actually something that I've been thinking about doing after I leave MoFo. And so I said, gee, that's great. Why don't we do this together? And so we kind of talked each other into it, and we decided to join MLA together. The transition from being a lawyer to becoming a recruiter it's interesting, because on one hand it's very familiar, but on the other hand it's completely different. It's very familiar in the sense that obviously I know the legal profession, obviously I know what lawyers do, so on one hand it was really familiar, but on the other hand the actual part about the recruiting processes, the actual doing it was pretty different, and it does take learning and it does take time to kind of get up to speed with that. Well, I think the real benefits of being a recruiter is you obviously get a chance to help people with their careers, you get a chance to give lots of career advice, which I really enjoy. There's a little bit of mentoring involved. But the other thing I just really like about it is that you get to have fun every day at this job. So, that's kind of hard to beat. And so that's really why I'm here.